Hi everyone, welcome to Torah on Demand. I'm Rabbi Yael Ridberg. When I decided to leave New York City for San Diego some 14 years ago this month, a congregant said in his best New Yorker cartoon manner, "I don't understand. I could never live there. It's so beautiful. What would I ever have to look forward to?" He was joking, of course, but the truth in what he said amounted to a need to see his glass half empty instead of half full. It is all about perception, of course, and the central story of Parashat Shelah that we read this week hinges entirely on the power of perception. Moses instructs 12 scouts, one for each of the tribes, to investigate the characteristics of the land they are about to enter. Since Sinai, they have been traveling for about 2 years, and they are on the edge of the Promised Land. When the scouts return from their expedition, they have contradictory impressions of the land. On the one hand, it's a land flowing with milk and honey. On the other hand, the people of the land are called Nephilim, giants, who cause heart failure in anyone who sees them. Among the scouts, only Joshua and Caleb assert with complete faith that Israel should enter and take the land immediately, despite the anticipated challenges of the mission, because God is with them after all. The other 10 scouts not only assert the facts of their discovery, but they interpret those facts. They say, it is a land that devours its inhabitants, and those giants, they must have seen us like grasshoppers. We looked like grasshoppers to ourselves, and so we must have looked to them. The scouts could not see the forest for the trees of the land. They could not see themselves as the people promised by God's promise. They could only see that the land was promised, as if it had no challenges or difficulties to overcome when they would enter it. Joshua and Caleb saw the land as one of promise, a land that with vision, imagination, and faith, they could enter and dwell there and overcome whatever challenges they faced. When the people heard the report, they reacted with fear and loathing. They exclaimed, "If only we would die in the wilderness. It would have been better to go back to Egypt at this point." This generation of freed slaves can only see the future in relation to the past, and they are not sure they can rally to secure that future. The rabbis teach that the people wept seemingly for no reason, and because of their lack of faith, their punishment is for the entire generation that lived through slavery, redemption at Mount Sinai. They would all need to die out before the people could enter the land. This is why we wandered for 40 years, 2 years to get to the land, and 38 more of punished wandering for a lack of faith. This experience of exile is as important to our national narrative as liberation from bondage. While the dream of a promised land is deferred, the journey to the land of promise is just as important. We are descendants of slavery and oppression, but we are also descendants of a people who had to muster courage and vision and faith to pursue our future. The story of the spies invites us to consider whether what we imagine is possible and whether that possibility is limited to what we see before us, or whether we can discern possibilities not immediately apparent to our eyes. We can choose to see the future before us with trepidation and skepticism, or we could see our unfolding future as one that will rely upon our determination, our commitment, our relationships, and faith in our shared destiny to ensure that the world our children will inherit will indeed be filled with continued promise. Thanks for joining me. See you next time, and Shabbat Shalom. And today, I dedicate this Torah on demand to Kfir Bibas, the little boy abducted on October 7th, who lived 262 days before October 7th and has now lived 263 days afterwards. May he and all the hostages return home speedily so that no more war need to continue.